Welcome to Nichols Retirement Empire. Well, guys, you ever read the Odyssey? Familiar with the term Odyssey? This painting job has been an odyssey. It has taken me like 3 weeks. What I do is I get up at 6:30. I paint till about 10. And then I stop. Guys, it's hot out here. I mean hot. I've been getting up. I told you I've been getting up at like 6:30 to paint. I paint till about 10 o'clock, 10:30, 11 o'clock, somewhere in there, depending on the first clouds or whatnot. But anyway, I've gotten a lot done. It's too hot. It's too hot in the afternoon to paint. And really, right now, it's too hot to cut grass. I know it's kind of hard to believe, to hear me say that, but I'm gonna tell you what it's not too hot to do. It's not too hot to go fishing. We're going fishing. We're gonna go fish from the bank, fish from the beach. Yeah, by the time I get to where I'm going over to Amelia Island and stop and get my bait and all that kind of stuff, it'll be getting toward the evening, and there's a chance of showers and thunderstorms and that kind of stuff, but it's not real high. But I'm hoping I'll get some cloud cover, but if I don't, I don't. But it seems to be a lot cooler when you're out on the beach, because you're getting in the water a little bit, and you got the breeze blowing in your face and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going. It's hot. It's not like 100 degrees or nothing like that, but it's pretty hot. I think it's 90 something, 93. But anyway, like I said, by the time I get out there, I know what I'm doing. It'll be okay. I've done it many times. I've done a whole lot worse than this, I can promise you. I really haven't talked about it very much with y'all, but when I was younger, I loved to fish. I mean, I fished. There's a reason I didn't get married till I was like 33, because all I did every single weekend. Let's go back. Let's go back in time. This would be the part of the video where you have that, those special effects, where you're like going back and having memories and all that. Just pretend that happened just now. But when I graduated from college, and I fished all through college, I mean, we would find ponds and stuff and go fish the ponds and all that kind of stuff in Athens. And I have never stopped. I've always fished. And so when I graduated from college and I got a job, and I didn't make much money when I started off, teachers didn't, back then, teacher pays pretty decent now. Back then it was horrible. So I mean, there were weeks where I was, how many days did I get paid? I get paid, so I got $7 and I get paid in 2 weeks. How am I going to eat? Stuff like that, so I had to be careful with my money. But once I kind of got a grip on that, and after I'd been teaching a year or two and got a little bit more money, I realized, hey, I don't have a car payment. I bought a truck that was like nothing, and I had a old aluminum boat that was my dad's old aluminum boat, and I thought, I could buy a boat. And it dawned on me that I could fish all I wanted. There was no restriction on how much I fished, other than my job. Now, my job got in the way, and coaching got in the way. But other than that, I could go every night if I wanted, anytime. And once that kind of dawned on me, and that realization hit me, as long as I had money, I could fish, and you know, I did that. I went and I bought this old boat for my uncle for $1,200. It was a 1979 bomber, fishing ski. It wasn't even a fishing boat. And me and my dad fixed it up. But anyway, I got it in. It was horrible, but it never ran good. It was something was always wrong with it or whatever. But anyway, I fished in that boat for a while, and from then on, I was fishing. Once I had a boat that I, you know, whether it ran or not, I was out there on the water. And I was out there every single weekend. And in the summer, I would go practically every single day. And then as I started making more money, and I didn't have to worry about whether or not I was going to be able to eat, you know, I was able to buy a house and stuff like that. But I fished. I would go when we had a week off. My weeks off consisted of driving down to whatever lake I was going to, that there was going to be a big tournament at, and I was in a fishing club, and we fished tournaments, and I fished state tournaments, and I fished on. I mean, I just was a fishing machine. And you don't meet a lot of women out on the water and or on the way to the lake at, you know, 3 o'clock in the morning. You don't really particularly want to meet with anybody on your way back from the lake when you've been sweating for, you know, 8-9 hours. And anyway, it just wasn't working out for me. But believe it or not, through the course of all that, the way I met my wife ultimately was with a guy that was in my bass fishing club, and it was his cousin. And he said, "You ought to go out with my cousin," because, you know, me and him fished all the time. I don't know what made him think I should date his cousin, but anyway, that's how I met Tammy. Ultimately through my fishing contacts. So believe me, I have gone out and fished day after day, hour after hour after hour, in just stifling heat, rain, you know, not lightning. Lightning is where I draw the line. But this is just what I do. Now that I'm getting older, I probably should be more careful about being out in the heat. But all I know is my granddaddy on my mama's side, that joker worked outside. He always had a farm, or he had a garden, or he had, you know, always had outdoor stuff that he did. And then he'd have a job, you know, that was his regular paying job, and then he'd have the farm. But that joker, every time he went outside, it was with the overalls, boots, you know, a long sleeve shirt, a hat, you know. It's 90 degrees out there all day. I mean, it got hot. Everybody acts like, you know, now it's hotter than it used to. It was hot back then too now. And he went out there every day. Man, while I was flapping my gums to y'all and running my mouth about whatever, I realized I was about out of gas. It's a good thing I looked down when I did. Y'all might have heard me. Y'all almost might have heard me say a bad word right then. If I'd have ran out of gas right then in the middle of that video, it might have been on video. Usually, I mean, I try not to say any, I don't say bad things. Usually if I feel like I need to, generally what I do is I'll get Tammy to write the bad word down on a piece of paper, or the bad words down, and then I just sign it. That's usually how I operate with that. I'm good about controlling my mouth, believe it or not. I am good about controlling my mouth. Controlling my brain is another thing for later. We'll talk about that later.